Four Guys on Sports is sponsored by CrookedRiverRadio.com. Crooked River Radio is an internet radio station that is live 24/7 playing top 40 hits from the 60s through the 80s. You can find us on Live 365, Simple Radio, Roku, Radio Garden, and even Alexa, as well as our website. Come on and join us on the Crooked River.
Please enjoy this feature presentation of the Crooked River Radio Network. This program is rated for all audiences.
Yeah.
Morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
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 Morning. Boy, that boy drinking something called it.
Trust everybody's doing wonderful this morning, right?
All right.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir. I got on one of your favorite caps, Pat.
Let me take a look here. Hang on a second. Oh, cool. Yeah, that is one of my favorite. It's got to be better than what Gordon's got on.
Oh, I thought this was one of your favorite, partner. Yeah.
You never know. One of these days, Shawn gave me a Texans shirt here a couple of years back for Christmas. I may have to wear that one of these mornings.
Hey, there's the true dynasty.
The Texans?
Okay.
What the hell is he doing with a Texans shirt? Man, it's a good thing we don't.
My son thought he was going to be funny.
Oh, okay. All right, then that was funny. Yeah, because he messing around and you got to get these.
Man.
Got to be a star.
America's team.
Yeah, whatever.
As George Bush would say, America's team.
That's American. That's right, it's American. Sorry about that audio being a little loud there. We are trying to be professional, but sometimes it doesn't always work out.
Yeah. Hey, we talking about America's.
That's an understatement.
Look, y'all talking about America's team now, though. So now that, so I guess Dak is back, huh? Because Dallas Cowboys have moved up in the power ranking. So I guess Dak is good to go, Gordon?
Yeah.
They say.
That's what they're saying.
But he has not played it down, and he getting ready to play. Hey, man, they're going to play. We know who their first game is.
You ready to play Father Time, right?
Well, I'll tell you what. They're talking about, even with the Browns, they're going to put Baker in tomorrow night. And, I hate to say this. I don't want the guy to get hurt. But it's about damn time. He's got to get the rust knocked off of him. He's not played in a year, except for practices and that. And he's not been in a game situation since last year. So it's time, these quarterbacks, they treat them, I can understand because they don't want him to get hurt. But you have to balance that out. Yeah. Let them play a little bit so they can get. It's going to take a couple of games for him to keep getting hit and get the rust knocked off.
Yeah. I agree. I agree. But you know what's happening when you start out in like Pop Warner, the little football league. Usually the best athlete on the team is usually the quarterback. Okay. And then as they go up through the ranks and after a while, probably the least athletic, a lot of times, what we've seen when they're trying to get to the NFL, the least athletic player on the team is the quarterback.
That's interesting. Yeah, that's probably pretty true. Yeah. Other than the center.
Yeah. But that's the game is evolving, it's changing. Now we have so many of these dual threat quarterbacks. These guys that can run and pass. We've seen it in the past, and of course Michael Vick could have been one of the just greats of all time. But he talked about when he got there, he relied on nothing but his athleticism and his instinct. He didn't really work on the game. And that's the reason why he gives kudos to a lot of these dual threat quarterbacks now, that these guys are more prepared. He's like, man, I wasn't watching game film. I wasn't doing any of that. Because part of his deal, again, was he just grew up always being one of the best athletes out there. Mm-hmm. And he just did it off athleticism. Well, when you get to that level, man, you need every edge you get, every edge you can have, you know. Mm-hmm. So you need to do some preparation outside of that.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Absolutely.
Yep, absolutely.
Hey, guys, while we kind of getting warmed up here talking about some of these things, I wanted to kind of just last week on the show we briefly talked about Mr. Deion Sanders, going to be big time coach this year, coaching in the at an HBCU. Thought that was hot news. But so today I was particularly interested, in just the mention of the fact that today is a little bit different in that. So you have opening up in the was that your in your opening up in the for college game day today. You got Alcorn State versus NC Carolina Central. Okay, opening up as a spotlight. That's going to be on ESPN this evening. So they got a primetime game for the Cricket MEAC SWAC challenge. So I was like, man, that's kind of big time, and that's a shift. And this is going to be the first, this is the first time they've had that. So I was like, wow, that's kind of big time. And then that, the thing that was kind of hot is that, so that quarterback apparently is one of the top quarterbacks, in the country for Alcorn. And they have one of the top DBs at NC Central Carolina. So I thought that was going to be kind of a good game. Probably, definitely might be worth watching this evening. Definitely for folk who are fans of the MEAC and SWAC. Definitely going to be worth watching. I thought that was pretty good.
Man, I think it is good. I think it's great, man. And I think that these HBCUs, man, they're on the come up now because they're going to get some of the exposure, also some of the better recruits. The big recruits are always going to these the big schools. These Power 5 schools, the schools in the Big 12, Big 10, and also the SEC. Some of these conferences, and as we see that grow, because in that there's a history lesson in the fact that what really integrated college sports, or what integrated college is the fact of being able to get these players, whereas sports is at one place where once you become a part of that team, the guys in the locker room, they're family. And sports has really knocked down a whole lot of barriers and brought more people together than anything else. Is sports. As kids grow up, and I think you should encourage them to try sports and the other thing. So many lessons they learn from it in general, without preaching too much on this. But it's just a pretty awesome thing to see that these schools are doing what they're doing.
The evolution.
Don't that beg to wonder why, when you think about it, why more leaders, for executives, even political figures, why more of them don't come out of sports? The reason why I say that, because you think about, we talk about that, athletics has had this magnificent way of galvanizing, bringing folks together, like you say. around a common good and building camaraderie and breaking down stereotypes and really modeling out the concept of a melting pot. And you think about that, and so it makes you wonder, how come you don't have more leaders, and different places coming out of these coaching positions, because they've done such a fantastic job in terms of really getting folk to buy into the fundamental concepts of being quote unquote good people.
Yeah. You bring up an interesting point there. And as far as there's several people that's been even in the NFL. I can think of Montana. The quarterback from Miami back a while ago. And you got coaches like even Urban Meyer. Don't you think how do you think he'd do in politics? It's a similar game plan. You have to develop everything that you're doing. You got to kind of wonder why some of these guys don't do that.
That is, I agree right there. Yeah, it makes you wonder, because you can see where you got people together for a goal, and when you come in as a team, and football is even bigger because you have more team members, but when you got the baseball, football, basketball, and these guys come from everywhere. Now they come from even overseas, and they come together and they work together as one, and one of the things that I really don't want to talk about on the show is politics, is the fact that being able to, man, Nate, that's a thought right there, because you pulling people together that, from everywhere, different background, different economic and social, backgrounds that are coming together. So even more so, then it's a broader stage, because then you throw in their age and gender as well when you start talking about politics. But it just, it's just a thought.
Using, I don't want to keep on the politics thing, but if you used somebody like, I'll say an Urban Meyer, who was probably a pretty decent negotiator, and even if you go into some of the ranks of the NFL Players Association, some of the people in there, if you could use them for Secretary of State or something like that, about the closest we ever got to something like that was Condoleezza Rice. And I remember she was trying to get into sports big time there for a while. I don't know whatever happened to that. There was a rumor at one time she was going to become the general manager of the Browns. It's not like it wouldn't work. I think that'd be a cool idea.
Mm-hmm. Well, what's the guy from Georgia, though? Oh, God. It was coach at, was he at Alabama, Georgia? One of those, I want to say one of those senators or somebody was in Trump's camp that came out of sports, that had that background. I can't think. But
look who's going for Senate there in Georgia right now. Herschel Walker.
Yeah, that's a point.
I saw that I heard that the other day when I was down in Louisiana.
Yeah, he may have a
chance. Yeah.
You never know.
Yeah.
But in that, that's a good thought. But one of the things I dare not talk about on this show is politics.
You got that right.
That's just not my thing.
That's not a topic for Crooked River Radio, period.
Absolutely not. Not. We're going to make somebody mad, somebody happy. So let's not talk about those.
That stirred a pot. No, I'm just playing.
Let me.
That was just kind of just a thought, just thinking about how dynamic sports is and how much joy sports typically bring and how galvanizing it is, and how it has been a leader in so many areas of life that matter. And it just makes you wonder, how come more individuals that are maybe placed in roles of what we consider significant leadership roles as it pertains to, steering the country in the direction why more of them don't come from the leadership ranks of, sports. That's all. Just makes you wonder about that.
True.
It just makes you wonder.
So let's start a pod. Let's talk about that topic you sent out earlier to us there, Nate. The taunting.
Absolutely. Well, let's. Can we roll it? We got a video or something we can show.
Yeah, we got the one clip you sent me. I didn't have a chance to get the second one up, so
that's all right.
But before we do that, I do want to welcome everybody to our show. I know there's a bunch of new people that are supposed to be coming in. If this is your first time listening to Four Guys on Sports, very welcome to listen in for us the whole hour or so that we're here. We don't stick to a lot of strict rules here, especially when start times and stuff like that, because when you're live, it just doesn't happen that way sometimes. So today we will be running till about 12:10 Eastern. So just keep that in mind for any program directors that are out there. We are on the Crooked River Radio Network, that is an internet radio station, and we play 60s through 80s tunes when we're not broadcasting podcasts. I will go ahead and play the clip, and we'll be back on the other side of this.
First down, and LeMay keeps the legs going, still moving the pile. That's a little out of the county tractor pull right there. And then a late flag is thrown, pickup of 14 yards.
Yeah, Benny has been tough all summer. Like I said, he's a north and south guy. Compact. He can run under the pile.
And again, late flag is thrown. Let's see if this is offsetting or potentially more yards tacked on for the Colts. Jeff Hussey, our referee tonight.
After the play was over, taunting, offense, number 42. That 15-yard penalty will be enforced from the end of the run. First down.
And that is something that officials are cracking down on this year, is taunting. So you're going to see some calls that maybe wouldn't be called in years gone by.
Wow, that's silly.
So I like you guys. You guys' thoughts so far. It is absolutely hilarious.
Yeah.
When you looked at the play, I don't know what it looked like to you guys, but to me, it was the most subtle of taunt that I can recall seeing, and it resulting in a 15-yard negative against the run. Uh-huh. And here's what's so funny. We're talking grown men.
Yeah.
And part of the game, well, forget it. First of all, it's 100% a game. First and foremost, right? It's 100% a game. Despite what they try to make it, it is still a game. I get it that it's livelihood, but it's still a game. Okay. But in that, it's also entertainment and moments of escape for people from viewers for whatever it is they've got going on in life. It gives you a chance to get away from something, and you want to see it in its best form of entertainment that it can possibly be to us. And for a guy who has probably worked the majority of his life being able to do what he just did, to be penalized for it now that he's able to do it well and wants to celebrate it and, enjoy the moment and bring everyone else in on the moment by being, quote unquote, somewhat braggadocious about it. So it is really funny to me. And I don't know if I'm buying or selling in terms of that being good for the game.
I'm just chomping at the bit to interject something here.
By all means.
It was told to me once that taunting, like beauty, is in the eye of the beholder. How are you going to how are you going to take and set guidelines for this? Taunting, if somebody comes up and says I did something derogatory to your mother last night and boy, she enjoyed it. That's one thing. But you guys are no good. Hell with you. I'm not even going to pay no attention to you. That's another thing, and that ain't quite as bad. So where do you set the rules at? Where do you set the line at?
Wow.
And that's the thing with this taunting stuff that I've thought all along, ever since they started, fining for it. It's in the eye of the beholder. You got one ref that says, "Oh, that's terrible," and the next ref that comes along says, "Well, what taunting? Where was it?"
Yeah. Wow. Like you, Pat, I'm sorry. I had to jump in there. First off, I was looking at, everyone's reaction and just think to yourself, we all think the same thing, man. That's ridiculous. But with all that being said, to play sports, okay, sports is emotional highs and lows. It is what it is. When you perform well, you get a little, especially us men, that the whole testosterone thing we have, man, we kind of beat on it. We have a little King Kong syndrome. We beat on our own chest a little bit. And it's celebrated. Just like when someone comes through and drops him for a negative yardage, man, they're getting up and they're jumping up and down, like and so the thing of it is because, first off, it's such an emotional thing. Don't take the emotion out the game. And the reason these players play the game at that level, and we've discussed this before, the greats, they play with a chip on their shoulder. They walk out there every down, every possession, every at bat, with something to prove. They go out there showing you, oh, I'm better than you. And that's a part of it is a man thing, I guess. It's a macho thing. And if my macho-ness offends you, I don't apologize for it. I say, so what? I don't care. Because I am who I am as a man. If we go out there, if we take it to this point now, I'm sitting down, I'm playing cards or dominoes. Mm-hmm. Man, don't you know, when I'm winning, I'm doing some trash talking. Mm-hmm. We grew up playing basketball, football. It's trash talking. That's what we do. And you know how you shut up trash talkers? You beat them. Mm-hmm. You beat them. And then when it's over, you know what usually happens? Good game. Mm-hmm. I got some respect for, I got to respect you. You got me on that play, man. Man, you straight busted my chops on that play, man. Man, you ran right through me, hey. Or you beat me on that pass. You caught that pass over me, whatever it is. I can say good play, but guess what, man? I'm coming right back at you hard again. Mm-hmm. Because I want to get my, dog shine on everybody, as they say, the saying. But anyway, I want to get my shine. So in that, if you play sports, you gonna win some, you gonna lose some. And so the whole thing of taunting, there are extremes, like Pat said. So how do you judge that? Because I may see it one way, someone else may see it another.
It's basically hypocritical. Mm-hmm.
It is. And it's so much in the, as you say, beauty is in the eyes of the beholder. Yeah. Man, that is the correct statement for that. Mm-hmm. But it just drives me crazy. I mean, there's certain things. I mean, if you dunk on me and then you walk over to me and stare me down, I don't really appreciate that. Mm-hmm. Or you walk over to me then step over me, mm-hmm. That's one thing.
But if you're just going by somebody,
yeah, give it that look. Turn to the sideline, man. When you bust that three in that corner, and turn to their sideline, turn to their bench, and just
basically talk to my hands.
That's gamemanship, man. To me, that's called gamemanship. Mm-hmm. But Anyway, I'm gonna get off my soapbox on that one.
I tell you, I listened to I'm gonna call it like this, man. The Human Flashlight, Neon Dion, Dallas legend, man. Definitely, man, one of the sweetest corners ever. He said that, of course, this is probably grown up coach Dion talking, because we watched Dion play. Dion said that, man, guys don't need to be taunted. He said, I quote, I never taunted. Okay, he said, I never taunted.
And the Pope's not Catholic.
I would dance, and I would, get my look back on, look at the big screen, whatever, this, that, and other, right? I never taunted. Now, that goes right to the heart of it's in the eye of the beholder, right? Because all of us would say, come on, Neon. Dude, you were one of the originals, right? One of the OGs, in terms of taunting. And you were the man. But he made that statement, and I thought that was really interesting, because I'm thinking, okay, this is Coach Dion talking now. And the NFL now is putting this rule in. And we all know that what's going to happen to college is going to follow what? The NFL. So the level of taunting that takes place at the college level is obviously going to be tightened up on, and it's going to, diminish at the same, diminish at, a rate probably relative to, what's going to happen in the NFL. But the thing is, this whole taunting thing to me is just so, I don't know how to say it other than the fact that it's utterly ridiculous, because I'm thinking, man, when are we going to stop? I mean, each year we start babying grown-ups more and more.
Well, in some aspects, I think you can probably blame Goodell for that, and the previous NFL president, because of the fact he's trying to make the game simpler. He's trying to make it so everybody will watch it. He's trying to get them on, get all the viewers he can get, and they're trying to put the safety factor on top of it. So this is where the tackling below the, or a lot of the helmet-to-helmet stuff has disappeared. The players are all taught different. They have to hit low in order to tackle, stuff like that. And I think for the most part, Goodell in his in his own way is trying to clean it up a little bit, so he'll get more watchers, so that when it's something like that does happen, people know that it's going against league policies.
I think, I can see some of that, but I can agree with, I like most of the safety stuff, man, because I love to see a good talent be able to play for a good long period of time. I don't, those hits, the helmet to helmet, that was good for nobody. The receiving end or the one that was dishing out the hit, that wasn't good for no one. So I'm glad to see that stuff get cleaned up, and correct tackling. No one wants to see people career ended as a result. One day somebody hits you in an inappropriate manner, and so now, you're done. So I like that. And then I'm thinking about something. The Raiders, the Raiders and Rams, I believe, right? Okay, they had their joint practice, and a fight broke out. And so Gruden, was talking about the fact that fighting has no place, in our NFL, right? and we know that, I mean, that's nothing new. We certainly know that. No one wants to see all that. So I'm just thinking, do they think that the taunting is, I guess they look at it and they say taunting is a precursor to a fight. And so if we can manage this, then we'll, potentially be able to have less cause, for fights. But, sometimes, the fight usually has more to do with sore losing, than it does with, a guy bragging about, a particular play. So I thought it was kind of, I wasn't really feeling it, for many reasons, but particularly don't know if that's one of the drivers. But I would venture to say, for what other reason would you be concerned about taunting unless you felt as though maybe it was a precursor contributing to on-field violence that is not considered gang-related violence? And I say gang-related violence because football is a violent sport.
Did you happen to watch any TV last night? Did you see that celebrity restore or something? I think I don't remember what the name of that was.
Can't say I did.
Hang on a second, Flora. What was the name of that program? I think it was called Celebrity Restoration. And last night they had Emmitt Smith on there, another good old Dallas boy, and he got talking. They actually had his speech at the when he got inducted into the NFL or into the Hall of Fame, and he said that his father took and he said they took him to the football field that he used to play on, and he started telling his story about his father and the first time he got into the end zone and did a celebration. And his father didn't play. I don't think his father actually played He played football, but he never got into the NFL because of some stuff that happened in his family. Well, he starts telling a story about his dad and how the first time he got into the end zone after he scored a touchdown, he says, I did that. He says, I shook and I pumped my fist and everything else. And he says, my dad saw that. And he says, after the game, he says, my dad called me in. He says, what the hell was that in that end zone? Well, I was happy. I was celebrating. He says, you don't celebrate. He says, you act like you've been there. He says, that action tells me that you haven't been there. And that pretty much followed him all the way through his career. And, as far as that, I think that even applies to some of the taunting and that. These guys should act like they've been there. They're getting paid millions and millions of dollars to be on that field to play. And people expect a certain temperament out of them. I'm not saying I'm for or against the taunting stuff. It's going to happen no matter what. But, these professionals especially, you don't see a bunch of that in college. These professionals need to take and get this in their head that they're not kids anymore. They need to take and start acting like adults. And if you get mad at somebody, go punch them.
Yes and no. Like I say again, but I understand it from the point of when you go back, you look at the Jerry Rice, the Barry Sanders, those guys. Barry Sanders, he just handed the ball to the umpire, to referee, and he just, his deal was for Barry Sanders. He said, "Hey, I'm just doing my job, and that's just what I do." For every touchdown he scored. But at the same time, and Jerry Rice was that type of guy. Now, in that, I like a little bit of the showmanship, and also in that, I understand what the league is trying to do, but we can say we want, but controversy sells. After the game, if you didn't watch that game in Dallas that year when Zeke jumped into the kettle, you saw it on ESPN. You saw it on the news. Now, with that, the good that came out of it is he was fined and he turned around and donated just as much to the Salvation Army. Now, with that being said, I still like a little bit of gamemanship. We grew up that way. Look, trash talking is just part of sports. That's just the way we grew up. Yeah. You like I said, if you want to shut me up, you beat me. But at the same time, and I can respect the cast that don't really do a bunch of celebrating. And I guess to Deion, when he slowed down, started doing his little high stepping, his little Heisman poses as he was running into the end zone when he got that pick six. I guess that's probably not taunting to him. But you know, you know that you just have to, as a player, or when you play the game. Excuse me, when you play the game, and the guys celebrate, you know, the whole thing when was that T.O. to pull the Sharpie out of his sock, and I didn't care. They made it seem like it was they made it seem like he shot somebody or something. He pulled a Sharpie out of his sock and signed the football.
Who was that one that pulled out the cell phone?
Pulled out the cell phone. Yeah, somebody pulled the cell phone out. They had it in the goalpost where they wrapped the goalpost. Hey, I thought.
Oh yeah. I remember that.
But my thing is, I don't care. And at the same time, allows guys know if they're going to be fined, fine me. You know what? If they want to spend that money, and then a lot of them will turn right around and donate as much to some charity. It's all good to me. It's a win.
Now, I tell you, I could relate to it if they said, okay, we're going to fine you if you taunt. And the money goes in the pool used to train the officials to make them better.
That's an interesting concept.
Now, but I'm going to tell you, the all-time number one, either great or most irritating taunt in the history of college football was done by your guy, Pat, the one and only.
Oh yeah, I know what's coming.
Baker Mayfield.
And Ohio State.
Ohio State. He grabs his man parts, disrespected, man, all of the Buckeye fans all across the country, and probably many, many females who were watching the game with their kids.
Let it go, Nate. Let it go. Let it go, my brother. Let it go.
No, I'm just saying. Because we're talking about taunts now. All-time, either greatest taunt or most offensive taunt, depending upon, you know.
And you know, the irony is he ends up in Ohio.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the funny part about it. But also in that, well, I thought the one with the flag was, that irritated me.
Flag on thing.
Yeah, that irritated me. But well, one of those Bosa boys got him back though, man. And for the longest time, he wouldn't even talk to him. He wouldn't even speak to Bosa because, and he'd be sitting over letting him know, man, when I come, man, hey, I'm boy, look at here, I'm gonna knock the brakes off of you.
He still comes for him when he comes too.
Oh yeah,
let him know.
I'm knocking the brakes off of you. And Baker Mayfield won't say anything. And now with that, part of that is this though. Part of it is a maturity thing too. You know, with the whole taunting deal, because like I say, and I agree with the whole deal on Emmitt Smith. And when you looked at Barry Sanders and Jerry Rice and some of those cats that just, they went out there and they asked him about an interview and said, man, I'm just doing my job. That's what they pay me to do. They pay me to get touchdowns, bro. You know, my taunt is getting in the end zone anyway.
To me, that's a gangster move. You know, that's definitely the OG gangster move. I'm like, you know, look, you know, they roll up on me, you know, after I scored like 50 or 60. Oh, man, no big deal. I just doing what I do. That's my job. That's what I do. I get buckets. To me, that's like, man, that's like the ultimate, man.
Oh, yeah, I just do what I do.
Like, yeah, I'm like, come on, man. You know,
there was a play. You got to understand. For years, Cowboys owned the Packers. I mean, they owned them. And Brett Favre's last year, and Cowboys they were trash at that point. And so they had a play. They was already winning the game. He decided, you know, rather than taking a knee, all of a sudden we're gonna pretend now we're gonna throw the ball in the end zone. And who was that linebacker that came over to the Cowboys later in his career? Zach. I can't think of his name now. Anyway, and he was ticked, you know. But that was one of his last games, and his deal was, look, Well, you punk, you ain't gonna let me get the we don't get the chance to get you back because you retired. We don't even get the chance to get you back. You know, to me, it's like in baseball. One of the deals I can't stand is this. If you go into a game and let's say you got last at bat and you bean somebody, you intentionally hit them as a pitcher. I mean, excuse me, you got they got last at bat and you hit them in the last inning. Mm-hmm. You know, it's ninth inning. The game's going to be over anyway. And we already ahead or behind, but we're not going back up to bat. So I'm going to hit so-and-so.
Yeah.
That's a chump move.
Yeah.
You know, as I would say it now, back in the day, I'd say something else, but that's a chump move, you know? So in that, now that right there, you know, come on, man, if you're going to hit me during the game. And then when you come back up, we'll see if our pitcher hits you or what we're going to do, but give me a chance, you know? So in that, but I said all that to say this with the Cowboys. Okay. When Favre threw that touchdown and Jerry Jones, he was on TV at that point. And he said, you know, the thing that to stop all that is just shut them down. You know, when he draw back to throw, when he go back to throw, which they wasn't expecting that, it was a cheap move, but still, when they go back to throw, you know, you stop them. Yeah. You put a lick on him, guess what? It's gonna stop. That'll stop. That'll end it right there. You put a lick on him, and you know, and then the game is over. You give him a good shot, nothing dirty, but just give him a good shot, or you stop that play. You know, he throws it to the end zone and you guys pick him off. You know, that stops all that. But in that, and it's like in the NBA, let's say, or basketball, you guys are already up by 25 points and a couple seconds left, and you go down there and you shoot a three or you drive to the back. You better not drive to the basket because the other thing of this is I'm old school. You drive to the basket and you're already up by 25 and you're gonna dunk it. Guess what? I'm taking your legs off money. You're gonna get fouled hard because that's crap. You ain't gotta do that. Don't rub my nose in it. Mm-hmm. To me, that's in sports, you know what I'm saying, Nate. In sports, that's like I'm laying on the ground, you know already beat me, and I'm laying there motionless, lifeless, and you kick me. Come on, man. You're already done. The game is done. But at the same time, you know, so
don't be a bully.
Don't be a bully. It's kind of like bully. But anyway, that's my take on all that.
But you know, I tell you, that's kind of where the softness starts, though. Right there, that's where it started, like that. It's like, hey, you play the game until that bell ring. You up by like I'm like, you remember the Barberton Magics? And coach got in trouble one year because Barberton was notorious for running up the score. And, you know, he got in a little bit of trouble, you know, that joke, man, they be up by 40, man. They still, they just keep they keep the press on. They keep rolling.
Running the score.
They keep rolling. And, you know, I'm kind of, man, you know, I don't mind that. You know, I'm like, hey, prepare better next time, man. You know, come out a little harder next time.
And I hear what you said. That's what I've been saying. Yeah. But guess what? If you drive to the basket, you up by 30 points, and you drive to the basket, oh man, I'm following you hard.
But what if you're up by 30 in the first quarter and you drive to the basket?
That's the game's still going on. You play till, as you say, you play to the whistle, yes. But the game is decided when it's the, you know. It's 3 seconds left in the game, and you up by 30. Man, we ain't got a 30-point play.
If suppose you got a guy in off the bench who hadn't played all year, 5 seconds left in the game. This guy's got his first and probably last chance to score.
I don't know. I don't know that. I'm playing against him. I'm the opponent, and my deal is to go out there and play hard defense. Then. And guess what? What they gonna do? Throw me out with a second left in the game? I don't care.
It's an interesting position though, because you got, you think about that guy, he gets in and he hadn't gotten in all season long. This is his first big chance to score. It's a senior year. Let's take it all back to high school now. He's a senior in high school. Last chance for him to score a bucket. He's on this great team, never really played. He's in the game. He's got a chance to score. They're up big. Is he supposed to pull that out, or is he supposed to go ahead and get him a score in?
And then let's take it the other way. Okay, he up. They beating the brakes off me, off our team, and I'm in the game. And guess what? I don't get the chance to play anyway. I'm gonna go in there. I'm gonna get one stat if it ain't but a foul.
Oh Lord!
I'm gonna be in the box office. I'm being.
Yeah. So,
oh my goodness.
Talking about basketball, what about that trade last night that happened with the Cavs? We're getting Lauri Markkanen and sending Larry Nance out to the Trailblazers in a 3-team deal with the Bulls. Sign and trade.
Sorry, I just got a message there. Say it one more time.
Okay, so the Bulls sent and did a sign and trade with the Cavs and the Trailblazers, where the Bulls sent Lauri Markkanen to the Cavs, and then the Cavs sent Larry Nance to the Trailblazers as part of the deal.
Wow. That's interesting, man. Nance is, man, he family in Cleveland,
Yeah.
And that's what I was thinking too. I'm not sure I really like the idea of that trade.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Nance name's been here for like 30 years.
I would like to see Nance go back to the Lakers, though.
Yeah. Well, with that happening, with getting Markkanen, what's going to happen now with Kevin Love? Because they're talking about doing a buyout now.
Well, wow. So K Love, in Cleveland just got rid of Grandpa.
Mm-hmm.
Grandpa's going to coach there at Dallas, assistant coach.
Yeah.
Dudley. So, which is cool. I think that's great for him personally. I'm happy for him. I think that's great. Like to see him, continue to grow and stay around the game that he obviously loves. I think that's big time for him.
He's a great guy. Just didn't need to be playing.
But K Love might have an opportunity maybe to go back to Los Angeles.
Yeah, that's what they were talking.
Thinking, yeah. I just want to know, what are they doing to my boy Dame though, man? That ain't helping them.
Oh man, that'll be nice. Portland have made a few thing moves this summer, but I think Nance will be nice though, man. Nance is a pretty decent player.
Yeah, he's decent.
He's a pretty decent player. It's just not. Look what he's got to play with. You put him on the team. Got some. You got some ballers on there, man. Man, he can be a tremendous lob threat. My goodness, very athletic guy, man. Yeah, yeah. To me, he was a lot better version of a Tristan Thompson. To me, a lot better version.
Man, Tristan Thompson stud, man. He got paid, boy.
He definitely got paid, didn't he?
Yeah, the part of the deal was that sign and trade was Markkanen got like 4 years, $67 million.
Wow, Markkanen's a decent player.
Yeah. He averaged a couple of years ago? He averaged like 18 points a game. So
I like that for the fact that they get a little younger.
Yeah.
And I think he's still got some. He's still on the come up. His game,
because he's one of the top 3-point shooters for his size too.
Yeah,
big. So Cleveland gets better.
But yeah, Cleveland doesn't. That's pretty good. I didn't think Yeah, I think that's
Offensively,
really,
they get better, but defensively, they lose out by losing Nance.
yeah. Defensively, they didn't lose nothing by losing K Love.
No.
They didn't lose nothing defensively there, but they may have gained, by subtraction in that regard.
You actually think Love will actually go somewhere else and play? I don't
I
see
think he
that.
should.
I don't
I
see
would like-
that.
I think he'll be.
I don't think he wants to play.
I hope he go to the Lakers.
I think he'll be there. It's going to be the old men. You heard what Russell said about the old men, but yeah, it's going to be the old guys.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's one old guy that could really bring some value. Because I tell you, he's an old guy, but he's still 6'10", 6'9", 6'10". He's still a big guy, and he can still shoot.
Yeah, he definitely has tread left on the tires.
Yeah.
Now, one of the things that, and I hear what you're saying, Pat, you wonder sometime is, where is his head part of the time? Does he want to play?
Well, yeah, but you figure he'll go somewhere where he's dealing with someone who used to him, and he won't be or have to be the guy. He won't have that pressure on him. He can just come in every now and again and be a far better version of Pau Gasol.
Yeah. Oh, most definitely. Pau was his man. There was no tread left on the tire.
The only thing about Love is his injury history.
But then again, with him not having to play that much, and I think injuries will go down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And his body should be pretty well preserved, considering he hadn't played much in the last several years here. Last 3 years, he hadn't played a whole lot.
Yeah.
He's been injured. He should be pretty
He
good.
only played 25 games last year.
Yeah, and I think that would be a good place for him, and I could see him going there.
I hope he goes there. I don't know if he will, but I would hope that he would. I certainly hope that he would. Plus, it would be getting him back to home. And I know that at some point he did want to play there, so I think that would be a great fit for him. Yeah, it'd be a great fit. I think his career would be nicely finished off there. Yeah.
Yep.
Perfect fit in the retirement community.
Yeah,
in the retirement community. Yeah, buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I played for the LACs.
The Lakers are becoming the Orlando.
Yeah, man, they're kind of like Florida, man. That's the NBA retirement team right there.
Yeah. Well, so what are we gonna call them? The the LARCs, man.
Retirement community.
But, yeah, I think that would be good for him, though. To be in all reality, I think it would be a good fit for him. Absolutely. So, what else you guys want to chat it up on about? So, what else? What are you guys thinking, man? You guys fired up, man? College game day kicking off today.
Yeah.
We talked about the game that I will certainly try to watch. The Alcorn and NCCU game, I think that's big time. The fact they're kicking that off this year. And I may watch that Nebraska game. I guess I probably have to watch that. I was looking at the slate of games today, and it's not like I'm totally excited about the slate of games.
You got coming up on Thursday night game, Ohio State and Minnesota. So that should be interesting to see how the Buckeyes start out with that new quarterback.
That actually kicks off at 8:00 Thursday.
Yeah,
I definitely want to see that with the loaded running back team, Ohio State, man. Ooh, my goodness. So even if depending upon how that quarterback looked, he may be able to relax a little this first game and kind of warm up to everything a little bit. Because good Lord. Man, they definitely got it covered, man. They got bases covered running that ball.
They're saying that some comps are saying that C.J. Stroud, the new quarterback for the Buckeyes, is comparable to that of Russell Wilson. So we'll see.
Yeah, I wonder. It'll be definitely. If he looks fantastic the first game of the season, then I am beyond sold. I mean, I just don't. A young guy. If he looks good first game of the season,
I think he will look good against Minnesota.
And believe me, they're loaded at quarterback in terms of freshmen.
Yeah.
Because they got Stroud, then you got another 5-star and Kyle McCord, and then you got that kid that just came out of Dallas here, Ewers, and then you got another guy that's a 4-star, Miller. So it's pretty loaded there for the quarterback position.
That McCord kid, is he
from Pennsylvania?
Okay.
He was the Gatorade Player of the Year for them in Pennsylvania.
I'm definitely looking forward to the Buckeyes kicking off the season. I'm definitely looking forward to that.
That's something that you don't normally see for a Buckeye, is seeing the getting that plethora of a quarterback room in terms of 5 stars.
It's going to be interesting to see what their defense is like this year too.
Yeah. It has to improve this year versus last year too.
Yeah, they had a lot of lapses. They kind of go through spells where,
but they
go through moments.
They lost some talent, but I think that they should bounce back and be stronger this year.
Well, we could always change the subject to the Browns for the last couple of minutes.
Yeah.
What do you got? I've been watching the outtakes and everything that a couple of the stations have been at the practices and that. Most of the practices now aren't open to the public. They did make the announcement that Baker was going to play some tomorrow. I would like to see him play at least a half, tomorrow evening. That's supposed to be like an 8:00 game.
Series, probably.
And I'd like to see him play a little bit anyway. There's a couple of question marks that they're still there. Cornerback is one of them. I'm not sure what they're going to do with that. They've had a couple of injuries that I can't remember names. My age is getting to that point where I don't remember names a whole lot, but I know what they look like.
So what's the question? What's the concern about? What is the concern about them at the corner position? Because they got a top. I think he's ranked in the top 15. He's the top 13.
Denzel Ward.
Just the fact that of the injuries in the past and stuff like that, from what I've been hearing, and they seem a little bit weak there. As far as
he top 8.
Yeah, well,
they're talking about that kid that they just drafted, though. Looks like he might start. Greg Newsome.
Yeah, I think Newsome is going to start. We'll see. I do like what I'm seeing on the defense. Clowney and Myles Garrett are going to be a hell of a combination if they can both stay in and not get hurt, especially Clowney.
Speaking of Myles, who was that? He said that he wanted to he's going to beat the brakes off of who? Who was that? Myles Garrett and it was someone. Is it Hall? The fighter guy, the brother that plays.
Oh, Jake Paul, or one of the Paul brothers.
One of the Paul brothers, yeah, one of the Paul brothers. And there was a statement made. Myles Garrett said, he was saying that he could beat Myles Garrett. Said if he had to fight him, he wouldn't beat him. He'd beat the brakes off of it. I thought that was funny.
There is a little bit of a trade rumor going on. You guys want to hear about that?
What?
Yep,
They're talking Mr. Odell Beckham Jr. going to Chicago.
Mm.
You know what? I would love to see that. Team him up with Justin Fields. I would love to see that.
They're talking that could be true.
I would think that, to me, if Cleveland is simple-minded enough to do that, I hope they're not that silly.
There was actually 2 or 3 rumors. They had him going to New York. One place had him going to the Giants. I don't see that happening. But
yeah. Well, if he's not happy there, I mean, and right now though.
Well, it's not that he's not happy. I think the problem is he's not going to get enough game time for him. You know,
he wants the ball.
He wants the ball all the time, and that just ain't going to happen.
But he probably should get the ball a lot more than he does. But I think truly that Baker is not the type of quarterback, that has the ability to get the ball to a guy that gets double covered every play.
You know what though? Smart football is if you're going to double cover him every play,
I'm going elsewhere. Somebody else open. Right, somebody else is open, and that's the thing. When Odell, when from the time Odell puts on his helmet, the time he put on his spikes, he's being double covered, and so Baker is not that. He's not a precision quarterback.
Okay.
He's a good quarterback. He's turning out to be a good quarterback, and I think he still has room for improvement. But he's not that precision guy.
Well, and
he's
the thing
not
about
knifing anything in anywhere.
The thing about it is this. Okay, if we don't have to, and the thing about a quarterback is this. Sometimes you gotta make plays. Okay. Now, if Cleveland goes out there and they don't have to make plays, guess what? He don't get the ball. If he's if he's in double coverage all the time, and I got receivers open, and we're probably gonna have one of the best run games in football.
Oh, I expect that.
No doubt. No doubt.
So with a when you have a ball dominant offense like that, first off, if I'm the coach, you're not airing out the ball if we can run it and they can't stop us.
But keep in mind, the reason why you can run it and you're hard to stop is because you still have Odell Beckham and Jarvis Landry on the field.
True.
So I venture to say this. In fact, forget that. I guarantee you, if you ship Odell Beckham out of there, the dynamic run game that we see from Cleveland will not be so dynamic anymore.
They will replace it. The thing about it is this: with the receivers that you have, and I hear what you're saying, but they got tight end, man. Cleveland is just so stacked in that offense anyway. Mm-hmm. Now, they are so stacked, and the thing about it is this: you double cover him all day, we're gonna eat you up. Now, what happens is this. What should happen is this. Look, okay, Jarvis Landry is tearing us a new one. The tight ends, or we're going to have to bring guys to load up the box to stop the run. Then Odell's open. But the way teams play it, most teams play it, when you have that stout offensive line and you got running backs like you have, the way they play it is this. You stop our run first. When you stop our run, we throw the ball. But until you can stop our run, because you got to pull players up. You got to load the box.
I hear what you're saying, but Odell Beckham, the way they defend Cleveland, their priority for stopping Cleveland, number one, which is the reason why he gets a double all the time, is Odell Beckham Jr. Because the long ball, he's an automatic threat. I mean, that's a quick score. The run game is stout, it's nice, but you give it to a runner. The odds are he's not going into the end zone. You give the ball to Odell Beckham Jr., there's a good chance that he's going to wind up in the end zone. So he gets a double team all the time, which it should be. Okay, now, that means then that Jarvis Landry is doing his job, and he's doing it very well. He gets attention, but not the same attention that Odell Beckham is getting, right? He still gets a lot of attention, but not that kind of attention. And then because you got to worry about that, then the running game, they do what they're supposed to do. You got these really talented runners, and they do a very good job exploiting what's being given to them. Okay, you do that, this is what we're going to do. We're going to punish you. But if you sit there and if you change your defensive strategy against Cleveland and say we're going to shut your run game down, try to focus on them, you will get blown off the field with Jarvis Landry and Odell Beckham Jr. You will get crushed.
But you know what?
I mean, because the score will come so fast. Because
Well,
he could throw the long ball.
The
He
thing
could
of
throw
it
the
is
all
this.
the time.
The thing of it is this. They want to continue to just chip away at, because the best defense there is a ball control offense. It doesn't get any better than that.
Yeah.
Because now you've got those quarterbacks that's not on the field. If you playing against Tampa and you know, hey, look, if we keep Brady off the field, we keep him off the field, he can't score.
I just did a search for Cleveland Brown injuries, and as of Friday, August 27th, the ones that are listed is Hill, which is a cornerback for an undisclosed, Koromo with a head injury. Higgins is out. He's a wide receiver with a leg. Meander with an Achilles. Injured reserve. He's on injured reserve. And Davis, which is a tight end. And that's a shoulder injury, and he's on injured reserve. So really, basically, you only got, 3-4 players out. That's not bad for the starting point of the season.
And you still got your top DB in there. So even if your corner is, a little shaking right now, you still got, your DB in there so apparently he's a top 8 man.
Yeah.
So they not, man. They're going to be nice. They're not going to hurt.
We need to wrap this up because it's 12:15 here. So who wants to wrap it?
Don't y'all say it at once.
You guys take too long, man. Look, hey, everybody, we want to thank you all so very much for joining us. We're all across the country here. We got every coast covered, don't we?
Yeah,
we got Texas, we got Midwest, we got East Coast. We want to thank you guys for joining in on 4 Guys on Sports. It was a pleasure to share with you all today, something that we're all so very passionate about. Love talking about sports. And to you all, we wish you all a very merry first college game day. It's college ball day today. And welcome back and to join us again, in the weeks to come. Thank you very much.
Have a good week, everybody.
Later.
This has been a Crooked River Media production.